Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Right now we're joined by NourAldin, host of Anghami's newest original podcast, White Talk. NourAldin has 20 years in the media industry under his belt, but most recently he's turned the tables on hosting and he's asking some of the most famous faces in the region about life lessons on social media. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, thank you.
I believe we are super excited to get to know you more before we jump into Anghami and your new podcast. 20 years in the media industry, you must have some stories.
20 years and more. I started in 1997 with kids shows.
In Dubai?
Yeah, with Dubai TV.
With kids shows?
Yes.
How did you even make that jump and what was the media scene like back then?
It was quite interesting. Sorry to say it, it's early morning. I used to tell the management we're just like a hungry person who wants to cook something to eat. So this is how we used to make shows. So, you know, there was no literally a grid in each season. The grid was like the Dubai film, the Dubai Shopping Festival, summer surprises, something like this. So we used to do shows and with more love than now, I would say.
More passion or
more love, more
creativity?
passion, more creativity. We had more freedom to talk about stuff. Yeah, it was nicer. For me, it was nicer. Maybe because I was younger, maybe.
Jaded. What was your audience like back then?
Kids for sure.
And how did you develop on from kids' shows?
This is a very interesting story. So when I was reaching the teenage, period of time, the TV station told me, we don't want to lose you. Just let's go behind the scenes to learn something. So I went to the production side because I was between. Like I'm not a kid, but I'm not a teenager. I'm not an adult yet. So it looked so awkward for me as like, when your mustache is growing and they don't know, like, are you a kid? No, you're a teenager. Oh, we cannot put you in any other shows. So the period was from 1999 up until 2002 maybe. I used to do a production assistant, scriptwriter assistant, a director assistant, something like this. Yeah. So I worked behind the scenes as well.
And when did you realize that you were going to be doing this for the rest of your life? What was your passion? What stories did you want to tell?
I think after the first show I did when I was a kid, it was called From the Ocean to the Gulf. It was just a kids show. We were like reporters and a green screen chroma. And then I remember the first report I did was about Cameroon and something to do with Cameroon. I don't remember. So now in Expo 2020, when I went to the pavilions, I told them, take me to the Cameroon pavilion. I want to feel like I wanted to go back in days. So how did I feel, or when did I feel that I wanted to continue? After the first show.
And take me back. So like it would be now, unlike before, parents are potentially putting their kids into the media industry.
They are.
And they're like, oh, this is a career option. Potentially, exactly. But back when you started, it was very, very rare. So actually, were your parents pushing you, or was it something that you really wanted to do?
Just me, yeah. My parents are different. My dad used to go on TV. I think in 1995. I was a kid. I don't remember it very well. But my dad is sheikh, so basically people will go and ask him Islamic questions and he answers. But he told me, no, it's not my thing, so he stopped. But he didn't really push me to go on TV. He didn't encourage me to go to the TV industry. He told me it's so challenging, it's not really nice, so this is my advice to you. So I always say I thank myself because I believed in myself and I pushed myself. It was always me pushing myself to do it because, as I told you, after the first show I did when I was a kid, I thought, I think this is what I want to do. And then, I just kept doing it.
Well, it's so interesting because now it's a more regular career path. How do you think the media industry has changed? And do you like, and it's interesting because your show with Anghami touches on social media. Do you like the media industry? Do you like social media industry? And would you recommend it to kids going to start at your age?
I actually do. It's like love and hate relationship, let me say, because on social media until now, we don't have ethics like TV, I would say, or rules or regulations, which I prefer more. You have more freedom, but freedom sometimes is a bit scary, especially for kids. But yeah, I encourage every single person who would love to have the TV experience or the social media experience, just go out there, talk about topics, go live, talk to people and see the feedback. From the feedback you can tell if you're good enough or not. Maybe you need to enhance something or just it's not your thing. Yeah, so try, why not?
What is kind of a let's say before Anghami, what is your career highlight? Because obviously you've had many awards, which is when you look back and you say, okay, this was the moment for me that I really, really loved.
I think I loved my experience back in days in 2008 with Al Arabiya TV. I was privileged actually to experience the youth culture and life in the whole Middle East, because I traveled for 45 days with another colleague of mine. I don't remember what was her name. Anyways, hi, if you see us now. She's a very lovely Saudi girl, but she disappeared. She did only this show with me. So I got to see how the youth culture, let's say, in the Middle East properly, like Morocco, Tunisia, like all over the Middle East. So it was a lifetime experience.
Amazing.
To me. Yeah.
And let's jump into the Anghami show, which is actually quite interesting. So it's White Talk. It's one of their latest original series. Yeah. And White Talk guests will open their hearts and unveil life lessons behind the social media image, yes. Which is a very interesting topic for you. So first of all, how did the opportunity come about?
I had this idea for the past 5 years, to be honest, and I passed it to so many TV stations, and they used to say, no, we don't like it. It's not a TV material. Sorry, I'm too blunt. Maybe.
Well, this is the feedback you got. So what was that like? How did you keep going after getting negative feedback?
Because I believed it. I believed in it. And basically the idea was a bit different. The directing idea was so new. So I made it 2 shows. One of the shows, one of it is a social media show. I only posted 2 episodes of it on YouTube. And then now I'm pausing because Anghami is taking lots of my time, and my other 2 TV shows with Abu Dhabi TV. So the idea was completely different, but I enhanced it with Anghami. And when I told Anghami I want to do a podcast, it's a visual podcast. It's not only audio, so audio and video, to have both options for the audience. They were so welcoming. Actually, they were so happy, and I would love to thank my management, Hugh Management, because they pushed it a lot. And they did all the communication with Anghami, so we made it happen.
So talking about the theme of the show, so you speak to the region's most famous faces. Let's talk about some of the ladies you speak to and what you're talking about.
I would say the first episode, because the first episode is out already. Now, tomorrow would be the 3rd one. So first episode was with Lujain Imran. Lujain is a very famous TV presenter. She's a successful story, let me say. So I made sure all the guests are successful stories. They made it out of nothing, let me say. They had a dream, and now the dream is happening, and they're living their dream. So why not?
But it's so interesting because, let's say, for example, Lujain, she has nearly 10 million followers on Instagram.
That's so true.
And she's perceived to be living the dream.
Yeah.
When you spoke to her, does she believe she's living the dream?
I think she has, she passed through a lot, I mean, in her life, because I know her in person. She's a friend of mine as well. So she is living the dream. At the same time, she's trying to, reach out to other dreams or making other dreams happening. She's shifting from, let's say, TV presenter or public figure to a businesswoman, where she tries to, let's say, I would say, mark her name in the real estate market here in the region and outside as well. So she is a successful story. She made it out of nothing, I would say. She was a banker back in days. She moved from Saudi to Bahrain, from Bahrain to UAE, following her dream, and the dream is happening. It's true. And then she told me, I never thought that I would reach this level and I would reach here, where I am today. And I think someone like Lujain, and even the rest of the ladies, I would say, that I interviewed, there were 9 ladies. They all had something in their mind, and they made it happen. And most of them, majority of them, told me, God gave me more than what I deserve. Like, they never expected themselves to be in this position, or to be in this, I'm not going to say job, because most of them, they don't have jobs. They're the boss. They're their own boss. And this is something very important to me, to show women and other people as well, everyone, you can be your own boss. You don't have to be an employee all the time. It's nice to learn, and then khalas, by the end of the journey, you have to have your own business. Or even if you are an employee, you have to own yourself. You don't be controlled by people, by someone, by a corporation, because this is what I believe as well. Well,
this is the thing, but I think a lot of people look and say that's the dream, and then you see these people with lots and lots of followers, but then I think maybe from your podcast you learn that it's not all happiness?
It's true.
What are I guess, the harsher lessons that these women have learned from being in the public space?
Yeah, especially when I tackled the friendship topic.
Interesting.
And I would say the psychological part as well. Like most of them, they went through depression, but majority of them didn't talk about it on camera. They spoke about it off camera. And some of them, they told me it's fine. I don't mind to say, like, I had ups and downs in my life and until now, because I learned from my downs. And I'm actually one of those people who talk about also mental health all the time on social media, because I believe it's so important to show people that we're human beings. We're not positive all the time.
100%.
I'm not positive 24/7. Yeah.
No one is.
No one is. Like, whatever you see on social media is just social media. Don't believe it all the time.
Well, this is what was going to be one of my questions. Did you find that the questions and the answers were very genuine? Do you think that they opened up to the best of their abilities?
99% yes, because believe it or not, I didn't prepare for the show, so it was all inside. It was a chit chat. So I prepared the introduction, which is a breathing technique. Just breathe in, breathe out.
With each woman?
Yes.
Can we do it now?
Of course.
We should have done it before the show.
Let's take a deep breath.
Okay.
Okay. 3 times. Okay, now close your eyes. Do you remember where were you 10 years ago?
What year is that?
Oh, we're in 2021. 2011. What were you doing?
I was a university student.
Did you expect yourself one day you will be sitting here presenting this show?
Not. I was a very terrible university student, so not at all.
Interesting. What did you study?
Journalism and Irish.
Nice. You can open your eyes now. So this is how I started every single episode with them.
Amazing.
So I was just trying to take them in a journey in their past to show that they need to appreciate what's happening now in their lives, because we are our past as well, the present and the future. So this is what I believe, because as a person I believe no matter what you pass through in your life, your past will affect you, even if you do all the cleansing, all the meditation, theta healing, whatever healing you do. This is what I believe. You are part of your past. No matter how you try to delete it, terminate it, deny it, you are part of your past. And the past, your past is inside you. No matter how much you try to let go of the past, it's part of you.
100%. What a fabulous way to begin it, and for people to have gratitude from where they've come from.
Yeah.
Especially as you said, they're all self-made women. Why the focus solely on females?
It was a pure coincidence, because as a male presenter, as a man, I always connect with female more when I do interviews, especially on TV. Like I noticed this when I had a female guest. They talk more. Sorry guys. Like I love you guys, but I have to be honest. Usually male, in my experience, men do manipulate answers usually on TV. They're not as genuine as women. I'm talking about majority. I'm not talking about everyone, but majority.
In your experience.
Of people that I experienced. So I noticed women can be more vulnerable on camera. Yeah, especially if you make them forget that there is camera. And I'm good at this. So I chose women because I think the audience will connect with them more. And it's harder, no matter what, even with the women empowering we have here and our GCC countries in the Middle East, with all the the movement happening now, which I highly appreciate and I love it. Women will find difficulties to make it happen more than men. So I was like, let's highlight then some of the successful stories. At the same time, some of those women are being criticized 24/7 on social media because people doesn't know their background. And I would say 3 out of the 9 female, they've never done a long interview like what I did with them, because it's almost an hour. The podcast is an hour. It's like 55 minutes. So they used to reject all interviews because they believed people want something out of this interview. And maybe the presenter who's going to interview them or the person who's going to have this chit chat with them is not a good person. So the moment I approach majority of them, they're like, yeah, with a pleasure, because you know that you're an ethical person. You're not going to go deep into our personal life. You're not going to invade my privacy. So we respect that. So yes, let's do it.
It's so interesting because I think in Western media, interviewers can tend to try and find the negative and find that kind of clickbait moment that can spin whatever they've said. But obviously here,
it is here as well. And with some of the presenters, yes, but I'm against this school or this type of interviews because I don't want to attract, the wrong audience to my shows, I would say. Because I believe audience who wants to connect with negative, they have negative stuff. If they want to connect with the positive, they have positive stuff.
I love that. And we'll finish on that because it's so true in terms of finding your positivity rather than finding your negativity. If people want to take a listen, how can they do so?
Just watch the podcast.
Watch the podcast, listen to the podcast. It's on Anghami. It's one of their new original shows, delving deep into the life of some of the region's most famous faces. Thank you so much, NourAldin, for your time.
Pleasure.
Guys, that is it for us on the Lovin Dubai show. We're back with you every single weekday morning, same time, same place. Stay safe and wash your hands.